Hello guys, in this video we'll be looking at the autosomal DNA predicted phenotype and traits of a Iron Age Proto-Turkic era individual of Kazakhstan. Now he's labeled as Proto-Turk or Turk outlier on most of the spreadsheets. However, based on his GD match results and based on his G25, I can safely say it's probably not a Turkic individual, most likely an Iranic individual like a Sogdian, for example. So this is what this Sogdian or Sogdian-like individual was looking like. He's predicted to have brown eyes, Greek-shaped nose, and brown hair with my NOSHACOT tool. With Snipper Free, he's also predicted to have brown eyes, white skin, and actually red hair. He did not have BEH1, so no blue eye haplotype 1, which means no blue eye haplotype 2 or 3 or 4 as well. He had actually 3 derived variants in MC1R, so he definitely had the ginger gene. There is a capacity for him to have ginger colored children, for example. In DRG2 stock 1 variation, he had A2A2, which is a typical genotype for a human. The implications is lower odds of ADHD and Parkinson's, and he had the warrior genotype in COMT. Now, this is a very typical genotype, a stereotypical genotype for a European, actually. Europeans tend to be warriors here with the IE. The health implications of having this genotype here is that he would have slower reuptake of dopamine, which means more dopamine building up in his system, which means advantage in attention and motivation tasks, however, problems with stress resiliency. He did not have derived OXTR, so he did not have what I call the sociopath gene here on my channel. No sociopath gene. And he had this genotype in ACT1, which increases the odds of cannabis-induced psychosis. Quite interesting. It's not a typical genotype for a European. And he did not have the European lactose persistence mutation, so was most likely lactose intolerant as an adult. Now, he did not have derived EDAR. As you can see, previously I depicted him with Caucasoid or West Eurasian facial traits. That's because he did not have the East Eurasian EDAR mutation. And he did have the European mutation that protects against myopia, which is pretty good, which means he was probably not nearsighted. And he did not have the East Asian alcohol flush mutation, so most likely did not have alcohol flush. When it comes to polygenic traits and illnesses, he had a very high risk score for type 2 diabetes, a very high risk score for brain aneurysm, a pretty high risk score for type 1 diabetes, a pretty high risk score for schizophrenia, a above average risk score for Parkinson's disease, a very high risk score for stroke, a low risk score or average risk score for bipolar disorder, and an average risk score for asthma. This is what he scores with Eurogenes K13, and here you can instantly tell that this is a Sogdian and definitely not a Turkic individual. Why? Because there's only 5% Siberian. There's not much Turkic components here, and with the Oracle, he's closest to Tajiks and Tabasarans, which are in Dagestan. He's actually getting modeled as a mixture of Tabasaran plus North Swedish, or there's also Baloch plus Southwest Finnish, or Tajik plus North Swedish, which is kind of like a typical score for a Sogdian, definitely an atypical score for a Turk. This is what the official G25 for this sample scores on Vahaduo. As you can see, it's closest to various Tajiks, and it's actually getting modeled as a mixture of Tajik plus Finnish, but it does have a little bit of a Turkic or East Eurasian component. As you can see, he's scoring 6% Han and 2% Ganasan here with Davidsky's model. So there is some Turkic admixture too, but that's for the most part, it's a Sogdian individual. This is what the sample scores with Harappa World, and that's why, guys, you gotta keep in mind that not just because the sample is called Turk, it has Turk in its name, doesn't mean it's actually a Turk. It's just a sample that was found in this time period, in a Turkic time period, and that's why they call it Turk, but it's not actually a Turk. As you can see, he's scoring Tajik plus Lithuanian, Tajik plus Belarusian. No kind of Turk is going to score like this. This is his result with PanDNL K10. Here he's scoring 9.9, almost 10% ASI, and what this means is that he's got some Harappan or Indus Valley admixture. And he's getting modeled as a mixture of Mardvin plus Baloch, or Baloch plus Russian, or Baloch plus Finnish. So yeah, there is some Harappan admixture in this individual too, at least according to this calculator. With Ancient Eurasia K6, he's scoring actually more of the same, 9.6% Ancestral South Eurasian, which is kind of a Harappan / Indus Valley component to score, so he's got some Indus Valley admixture according to these two calculators. And here he's getting modeled as a mixture of Tajik plus Goyet, and Goyet, in case you did not know, is like Gravetian or Cromagnon. And with Gedrosia K3, this is what he's scoring. He's scoring 77% West Eurasian, mostly a Caucasoid, mostly a West Eurasian result, but there is some East Eurasian admixture too, which is, typical for Central Asian individuals. Now, you can download this file in 23andMe format from a link which is in the description, and leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.